Thank you. Good morning, North America chapter leaders. So great to see everybody here. My name is Sarah Swanson. I am currently in a volunteer role just like the rest of you, global volunteer as region mentor for Region 2. Yay, Region 2 rocks. Woo! Started out in the Minnesota chapter. I was on the board of directors. I did a 3-year president's term there. If I haven't connected with you, please reach out to me while you're here over the next few days. Would love to share my PMI why, and my volunteer journey with you. If you're interested in learning more about volunteering with Global or president role, anything like that, would love to chat with you. Also have a challenge for everybody today. Sit next to somebody you don't know at the meals over the next few days and network and collaborate. So I get the pleasure of introducing our general session speaker today, Spencer Horn. Spencer is a dynamic speaker and executive coach who has been inspiring change in businesses worldwide for over 3 decades. Standing at an impressive 6'7", which I'm sure all of you have seen Spencer today. He's a high energy, engaging, and interactive speaker, trainer, coach, who brings a wealth of experience to us today. And I forgot to grab my clicker. So Spencer's experience in his 31 years of executive experience, Spencer has worked with major organizations such as IMAX Corp, National Geographic Television, Radio City Productions, and Disney Films, among others, to help develop productive and focused corporate cultures that lead to high-performing teams and engaged employees and volunteers. Spencer's experience and expertise in leadership and team development make him an ideal speaker for today's topic of communicate with impact to create more volunteer engagement. And I'm sure all of you, as chapter leaders, I definitely want to hear more about that, how to engage more volunteers. So without further ado, please join me in giving Spencer a warm PMI family welcome.
Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate that very, very much. You've been congratulated a few times for being here. I'm going to congratulate you once again for making the investment of time, of money, and effort to be here. I love hearing the fact that the new member orientation has to be replicated because you are investing in the success of your chapters and especially in the success of your volunteers who support your chapter. We're talking about this topic today because I understand that's what you all said you wanted. It was great because Joanne and her team polled you all and said, we want to understand how to communicate to create greater engagement. And so we're going to talk about, communication is a big, big topic. Can we all agree to that? And days just talking about this topic. And so I'm going to share a few things with you. We're going to do lots of different things today, getting up, moving, and I'm going to expect you to practice what we talk about today. I love the aspirational mission of PMI. It's in that first sentence, and I checked to make sure that that's it. It's up to date. Apparently, this was right from your website. That first sentence, PMI empowers people to really make ideas a reality, and the rest is how you do that. Now, this is important because you already are here because you want to serve your chapter members. But I'm going to assume a couple of other things about your chapter situation. Number one, that you have a mission that aligns with this, that you have a vision of what you want to accomplish with your membership, with your boards and your volunteers. That you have policies and procedures, that you follow them, that you also follow the PMI standard of ethics. Hopefully those things are all standard for you. But with those things being equal, can we all agree that some of the chapters are having great engagement? Some of you right now experience that within your chapters, with your volunteers. There's great engagement. And some of you have an opportunity to get better, and you are hungry to do so. Now, for those of you who may be in that situation, it may be that in the past that you had that great engagement and something has changed. Or you're great now, but in the past you struggled. That's been the case with the association that I belong to. I've been working with PMI chapters for almost 14 years. And I'm here today because of Jeff Howcroft right here from the Utah chapter. In 2010, yes, he invited me to his chapter, and for a couple of years, I was just happy to come and engage with the Northern Utah chapter until he said, you realize there are 300 of us around the world? I said, no, I didn't know that. And in 2014 was my first LIM that I ever attended. That was in Phoenix, I believe. Is that right? Any of you were there? Add to that, I have sat on different boards for several decades. I currently sit on 2 boards. One is my association board. I am the vice president. In a couple of weeks, I will be the president-elect. So in my association of the National Speakers Association, in my chapter, I have similar challenges and desires that you have being here. So our interests are aligned. And in our industry, in the speaker's business, would you believe that some chapters have volunteer engagement issues? We speak for a living. And some chapters have greater engagement than others. I just spoke last month in Las Vegas, yes. Where's Chakri? To another major association, and guess what they wanted me to speak on? Chapter leaders wanted this exact same topic. Why? It is an issue in all associations. And yes, some things have happened since 2020. There's no doubt about it. We'll talk a little bit about what those are. But in the last week, in preparation for this, I called 8 people, 6 of which are past presidents that I know from PMI, to talk about their chapters and this issue, both the good and the bad. I'm going to share a good story. So my friend Kostas Chapoudis from Cyprus, I've worked with him for a few years. And I said, Kostas, why do you have such great volunteer engagement? And in his Cypriot accent, he said, because we have an event management firm. I said, that's not why you have engagement. Because you can have great engagement without an event management organization. Could you agree? Yeah. I said, that's not why you have engagement. You have created an environment where people want to be there, where it's fun to be there. You love to get together. Now, that management association may help. They're a chapter with 200 members. That's a small chapter. They only have 7 volunteers. But they love being together, and Kostas empowers them to make decisions. He empowers them to give their ideas and own those ideas. They have great succession management. So now that they have 3 new chapter leaders, that the game rolls on with them. But they love being together, and they've created an environment that now the entire community is embracing that chapter. And you have that same opportunity no matter what the size of your organization. I talked to another past chapter leader here in North America. She says, one of the things that we do to create greater engagement is I don't just spend time with my board members, but I reach out to the director level. I reach out to them, not only them, but to their families. And we're very careful to make sure that every decision that we make, there's transparency, that we involve every board member. And when there are challenges on the board, somebody's disruptive, or maybe there's bad behavior, somebody breaks a code of ethics, we address it immediately and fairly and kindly. Now, I called and talked to many chapter leaders that have had challenges in the past. And without mentioning any names or any chapters, I'm going to share a few behaviors that some of you might recognize and might feel a little uncomfortable. And I'm going to read them because I want to make sure I get them right. Is that okay? Maybe you recognize some of these types of behaviors that create disengagement in your communication. Board members insisting that are best. Pushing an agenda does not have board member support, even if the idea is best. Withholding information from board members to control power and decision making, or lack of transparency. Poor financial oversight, not separating financial reporting, receivable and payables, failing to have the whole board approve financial reports. What does this have to do with communication? You are communicating every aspect of chapter business. I know I'm going in and out, so sometimes I'll get loud when I hear it go out, and then it'll pop on you, so that'll keep you awake. Wouldn't that be fun? Lacking empathy and self-awareness. Unwilling to take feedback from team members. Poor impulse control. Unethical behavior. Taking a position to support their ego and build a resume. Unable to inspire board members and volunteers to complete the task. Overriding the authority of board members. That's a fast way to create disengagement, isn't it? Failure to provide clear responsibilities for each board member and volunteer position. Failing to recognize the efforts of the team and shining a spotlight on themselves. Sabotaging board members who disagree with you. Lack of diversity on the board with how people think and with how they communicate. Unfortunately, these are not unique to PMI. Maybe some of you recognize some of those behaviors. And I know that's a little uncomfortable to talk about, but there are so many of you that are doing so well. We're going to talk about those best practices after we got some of those out of the way, because we want to avoid those. I want you to be able to recognize them, and when you see them, to make sure that you address them immediately. With my National Association chapter, one of the things that we are so proud of, our organization, our chapter has grown 52% since last June. One of the fastest growing chapters in the industry, in the country. And why? Because we create engagement. When people come, we make them feel welcome. Like you heard Serena did last night, we are reaching out to them, extending a hand, welcoming guests that come and people that are coming. They're happy to come because they see a smiling face and people that they recognize. I love, Serena, your description of, I found my people. I didn't feel like I was wearing a twirly hat. I absolutely love that because you have a home and you feel comfortable with those people and you're made to feel welcome. That's so, so important in creating that engagement. But when we do more than that, we spotlight members who are doing something special. With our chapter president, she is all about Disney, and so it's all about magic, and so it's the member who made magic, and we formally recognize them and give them the opportunity to recognize somebody else. We give people a voice. We let them have responsibilities. These are things that make a difference. So we're going to do some polling. And so when we talk about this subject of communication, I have some live polls, and you're going to have to take a picture of that QR code because we're going to gather some information. And in these questions that we're going to show here in a moment, you're going to hopefully glean some ideas to help improve communication. Now, I don't gather any of this information, even though you maybe put your name in. I don't even think you have to put your name in that. We don't gather that. This is all going to be anonymous, and so I want you to be completely honest. That's so important because I want this information to make it available to you, to PMI, to your chapters, so that you can learn from this information. So, first question, how often do you communicate with your volunteers? Almost never, at events only, monthly, weekly, daily? And monthly is taking the lead, and then weekly is ahead. Okay, events only, holding steady, way at 12. Daily is, all right. Almost never, love that. Oh, there's a few almost nevers. Oh, it's getting smaller. Look at those numbers changing. Weekly, it looks like it's leading out. Close the race. No, some monthlies. People are being honest. So what do you think? Weekly, is that enough? You have jobs, right? So do we. But you know, issues come up when you're on the board leadership. Those of you who are presidents, would you agree? Stuff comes up that you got to deal with. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And it's so funny, you know, we were driving down, my wife and I, from Utah, and I was dealing with some board issues, and I have it on, speakerphone in the car. And Jana looks over to me, my wife. She's over here, by the way. She hates it when I point her out, but she's here. She's like, I don't need to give you any kudos. You all give each other kudos all the time. And so it's just like, you guys just slap each other on. But we need that sometimes, right? Because we're working hard. And we communicate almost daily. Doesn't mean we pick up the phone and talk to each other, but it could be a Slack, it could be an email, it could be a text. Something that we stay in touch with all the time. Now that's the executive board. Not every board member needs to do that. But weekly looks like most. Monthly, these are your volunteers. These are the people that are making it happen at your chapter. So frequent communication is important. Next question. What channels do you use to communicate? Go ahead and put those in there. One channel only. Oh, it's picking up steam. These are kind of nebulous options, aren't they? I don't know. All available. What does that mean, all? That's a communication issue, right? That's pretty not clear, is it? Many channels. How many is many? You'll see why I put that in there. Several channels. How many is several? How many of you talk like this from time to time? Well, yeah, it's not very specific, is it? Only one channel is 2 or 3. Those are the 2 most specific. And look at that, 2 or 3. That's fantastic. So more than one, that's good news. Next question, how effective and clear is your volunteer communication? And so be honest, moderately effective. Okay, somewhat effective. Again, not very clear, but this is fun, right? Extremely effective. I'm surprised. But I'm also not. And you'll see why. Okay, I want to move quickly. We got a lot to do today. It's fun. So have you received, this is how you know if your previous answer was accurate. Have you received feedback from your volunteers about the effectiveness of your communication? Rarely, 39%. Sometimes, often, always is like my whisker that I forgot to shave. Never, 19%. For those of you who did get feedback, this is qualitative. Write it in. What kind of feedback? And I'll just give you a couple of seconds to answer. What kind of feedback did you get? What was it? What are you hearing from your volunteers? I love that Brantley is giving you all an opportunity to make these meetings better. That is the purpose of community and utilizing the knowledge of the community. Stop using Exactly. Gratitude, wonderful, great ideas. Lots of thumbs up emojis maybe, right? More email blasts. Well, that's just opposite of what the other ones say. Nothing. Radio silence. Please clarify or clarity. That was a great meeting. Boy, you want to hear more of that. Because when we were talking earlier about why sometimes chapter engagement is down, real, right? It's honest. I love that. Complaints, didn't see that. Oh yeah, especially on the board. It's too much. Please call me. So why did I ask you if you have multiple channels of communication? Because some people actually like to talk to humans. Some people prefer that style of communication. And one of the things we get to be good at is adapting and not just doing it one way, what's most comfortable for us. That's a big part of what we're going to talk about today. Email is exhausting. Isn't it though? Thanks for sharing. Not applicable. Okay. Are these good? Couple more. How do you engage two-way communication with your volunteers? Here's a couple of ideas, but I'd like to know if you're doing some of these right now to ensure the feedback and ask questions. Awesome. So we're creating a welcoming environment. That's good. We're using multiple communication channels, which we've seen, and we're conducting feedback surveys and regular updates. So those are all wonderful things. A few town hall meetings. Those can be very, very helpful, and a few honest nuns. No pun intended. What method do you use to evaluate whether volunteers understand their roles and responsibilities? And here's another few ideas to make sure that is clear. Orientation and training, like you have here for new members, which is wonderful. I bring my own towels because by the time I'm done, I'll be soaking wet. I just have to do it. My wife found those for me. They're wonderful. Thank you, honey. Orientation, number 1, feedback, coaching. There are a few ideas here that can help you improve communication. We have systems in place for volunteers to report issues or concerns that they may have. This is important. Just a few weeks ago, we had an issue at one of our chapter meetings in my association where during our break, somebody was talking to someone else. It was a brand new guest that came and made one of our long-term members not feel very comfortable. They had shared something about the challenge that they were having in their profession and got some feedback and made them feel very unsafe. We responded immediately. But we needed to have a method to get that information so that person wasn't embarrassed because it was really hard for them to share this information, and we needed to make sure that they felt protected and they felt safe. And we as an organization are responding to that information. You need to be able to have these channels. It's so, so important because things will come up in leadership. You will see things and hear things that you wish you hadn't. Would you agree? Yeah. No systems, so there's an opportunity for you. Informal systems. I'm glad that many of you have formal systems. What are you talking about? All right. Chapter members feel appreciated and loved. That is intentional. Loved by the board. I love that this gentleman from Milwaukee, where is Milwaukee? There you are. Thank you for pointing that out because that's important, isn't it? And we want people to feel they have a tribe, they have a place. We could do better. Excellent. What's love and appreciation got to do with anything? For some of you, I was commenting about a lot of the love songs that we have going on right over here. It was like there's a lot of awesome. Anyway. But we need, when I say loved, I mean that they feel important, that they feel seen and recognized by you. You smile at them. If it's appropriate, tap them on the shoulder, or whatever is appropriate with your relationship. One communication I want to improve. This one I'm very interested in seeing because these are very specific based on who's in the room right now. Be completely honest, please. What is it that you want to improve about your communication? Listening to others? Guard against coming across too strongly. That's a very specific personality type. Voicing your opinions and standing up for rights. Very specific personality type in the room. Soften and judgmental comments. Being more precise and direct and to the point in communication. Excellent. So there's some self-awareness in the room. That's good. But it sounds like there's some strong personalities that get to listen a little bit. That's great. Which is what we're trying to do, is listen to each other here and setting that example. Now, I'm asking you to describe what's one word that describes your leadership style. This is not your leadership philosophies. For example, servant leadership. That's not a style, that's a philosophy. You can apply your style to being a servant leader, if that makes sense. Love this. Collaborative, empathetic. Servant. How do you do that service? Do you do it without listening? Just going to serve you. Passive, accommodating. Relationship focused. That's nice. That's one word, hyphenated. Perfect. Inclusive, empowering, busy, coaching. Wow, lots of variety in those answers. Love that. Okay. I know there's more coming up, but we got, again, lots to talk about. So, let's talk about, does anybody in this room, have you ever had a miscommunication? I just had one this morning with my wife. Did we not? She's like, you're the worst. Like, I was very clear. We're gonna talk about what are some causes of miscommunication. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with it. So, I need you to take out a piece of paper and pen right now. Do that right now because we're going to do a little test. And you have 60 seconds to take this test. I've got to put the timer on. Hold on. All right. Everybody got the paper and pen? Okay, so we're going to do a time test. All right, love the rhubarb. All right, here we go. 60 seconds starting now. Read the instructions. And time, that was 60 seconds. How'd you do? You finished. How long did it take you? 15 seconds. He finished in 15 seconds. So would you do me a favor? Would you read, is this number 9? Would you turn on number 9 here? Okay.
Check one. All right, here we go.
Read the instructions, please.
This is a test. The questions are numbered from 1 to 10. You're being timed on this test, so speed is important. Do exactly what each question asks you to do. Now start and do questions 1 and 10. When you are finished, turn the paper over.
Thank you very much. Well done. How many of you missed that detail? Why would you miss that detail? You're all project managers. What? Oh, because of the hyphen. The hyphen changed all the meaning. Why else did you miss it? Why did you miss it? You were in a rush. Did you say, who said that? Was that, you were in a rush? You did 1 in 10 only. Excellent. Yes, why did you miss it? Say again?
Your brain will automatically fill in what you expect.
Oh, you thought you understood because in the 3rd grade you always have to do everything that the paper says, right? So that's a pattern that you're repeating here. Why else did you miss? Thank you for being honest. Because I hyped you up. I hyped you up. Because of the pressure. What were you going to say? But why didn't you read the top? Because of the pressure. Now here's the question I have. How many of you are under pressure? As project managers, you're under pressure every day.
You stress me out.
I'm stressing you out? I'll relax. I get up and down. It's just the way it is. But you're under pressure. I stressed her out, so it's my fault. Under pressure, we miss some details, don't we? All right, so I have another exercise for you. I'd like for you, please, to draw a rectangle. Draw a rectangle with a circle in the middle. Put one circle on top and another circle on the bottom. Go ahead and do that now. A rectangle with a circle in the middle, put a circle on top and one on the bottom. You guys finished? You got it? Pierre, what do you got? Show me.
It's in my head.
That's how we, let's see. Excellent, okay. All right, let's see what you got. Amanda, excellent. Look like this, right? A rectangle with a circle in the middle, a circle on the, put one on the top and one on the bottom. How many of you got this? Like 3 of you. Okay, I see you. 3 of you. What happened to the rest of you? Why didn't you get that? Because it is a rectangle. I had it inverted?
Yes.
So what should I have done? I should have what? I should have flipped it. What else should I have done? I should be more specific. You guys are shooting on me a lot, aren't you? I'm good giving instructions, she said. My wife would agree. Yes. See, she said it again. Communication should have been clear. How often do we should on each other? It seriously happens a lot. Say that again.
You should have taken the time to verify what you were asking. Communication goes both ways. There you go.
And with the should, I liked it. So she said communication goes both ways. Who is responsible for successful communication? I am 100% responsible to make sure that you understand, aren't I? And you are how much? 100% responsible to make sure that you understand what I said, and vice versa. Where did that responsibility show up? And where does it show up in our communication in our chapters? How does this happen? Does it happen? A lot. And with one-way communication, let me promise you this, almost 100% failure rate. Yes?
You set up this question. You're 100% responsible for the communication. Your wife is 100% responsible for the communication. How does communication go? Because I know how it went with my wife.
Well, honestly, I was in the session and trying not to text too much earlier, so it was through text, and that's another fail, right? It's through text. And I thought I was clear, but we didn't have a chance to talk face to face. But that's a great observation, and my question to you is, how do you make sure that everybody gets the same message? How do you make sure that everybody, you've closed the loop on communication? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But it's hard. Communicate is hard. We're tired. We're stressed. But it takes time and effort to make sure that we're communicating and that people understand us. So here's what was pointed out by many of you, and I'm so grateful that you caught that, is we all have responsibility to make sure effective communication takes place. That we get to understand it. And if you don't, ask the question. You have that responsibility. What do you mean? I say that all the time. What do you mean? Tell me more. Because I want to make sure if something's not clear to me, because sometimes we use words like I did earlier in some of those questions that are not very precise or specific. What do you see on the left? Shout it out. What do you see on the left? I can hear most of you. You see a face. You see a girl. How many of you see a girl? Shout. Bill Clinton playing a saxophone. How many of you don't see any of those? On the right, what do you see on the right? What's on the right? An Inuit, okay.
An Eskimo.
Yes, an Eskimo Inuit. What else? Maybe a First Nations bust of a head? Yeah. How many of you don't see any of those things? What do you see with? What do you see with? You see with your eyes. Yes. You see with your brain. You hear with your brain, don't you? That's the window of which we capture that information, then it's interpreted by our brains. And how many of you realize that we all have different perspectives and experiences and understanding? You can have 10 people see the same accident and report to the police, completely different circumstances. Who's right? Perception impacts how we communicate and miscommunicate. These are some more statements, okay? And we'll go through these really quickly. What do you mean? My neighbor just bought an expensive car. If I asked you, it would be $500,000 over here, $500,000 over here. And so in our minds, there's this huge gap that we're not understanding. I recently saw an email. I've heard people say, well, that was like a month ago I recently saw. Really? I mean, that's like 5 minutes ago for me, but that's a month to 5 minutes. But we say these things, right? I saw several movies last summer. Some people say 2, and somebody says all of them. In the past year, I've been moderately successful in my diet. That's not been true for me. How successful have you been? Haven't gained, haven't lost. Mechanic looks at your car's engine and say, this is going to take a while. Have you ever heard that? How long? Some of you are like 2 hours. Others are like, no, it's 2 weeks. Coworker says, I'll get that to you right away. When are they going to get it to you? The proposal was overwhelmingly approved. By how much? 51%? We get to be precise in the language that we use. All right, I've got a little exercise for you. We're going to do a little exercise. Hopefully I don't spit my pants because I've been moderately successful on my exercise program. And I'm getting old. Got to get that out of my... There we go. Crick in the back. Seriously. Okay, I've got 3 shapes. The first shape, can I get an ooh? Yes. The second shape, can I get an ah? And for the third shape, can I get an oh my goodness? Okay, so you have 3 shapes: the wooden ball, the wooden cube, and the wooden pyramid. How many of you, as you look at these shapes, prefer the wooden ball? Raise your hand if you like the wooden ball. Excellent. If you like the wooden cube, how many of you like that best? If you like the wooden pyramid, raise your hand. So here's what I want you to do. At your table, hopefully you have some variety. I want you to share with each other why you like those shapes. Go ahead and amongst your tables, do that right now. Share which shape you like and why. Go ahead and do that. Okay, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, time. Bring those thoughts to a close. So, my question to you now is, after hearing somebody else at your table describe which shape they liked best, how many of you changed your view? Did anybody change your view? Oh, look, we have a couple. Why did you change your view? Hold on, listen. I want to hear why you changed your view.
She said that the cube had lots of different perspectives, and it made me think from a different perspective, and then I ended up thinking that cubes could be very useful. You could stack them and build things, and I thought that was great, so I had a different thought about it.
I love that. You said you changed your opinion?
I did. I felt the same as Nate here. Same thing from Eliza. I picked the pyramid to start, thinking about my talent triangle, and then when she talked about stacking, and so did Nate, I really liked that concept.
Wow, Nate influenced a lot of people. Oh, so sorry, Sarah. So, for the rest of you, why didn't you change your opinion? Yes.
You realize we're all in technology, so shapes don't really matter.
Don't they though? Yes. Yes, because we all have different views.
Why should I be like anybody else, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Is
different
that TT's
perspectives.
fan? Can I use that TT? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yes, why?
I changed my view because nobody in the table had a spear. They all chose something else, and I wanted to say something else.
And
just to be
so
different.
you wanted to be different. And they had no compelling reason to convince you.
No.
Okay.
Nobody chose the spear, so that's why I was choosing a spear right now.
Yes.
I think also being able to stand behind your decision, then you're not easily influenced. But from a reverse perspective, if someone shares something that you agree with, then you can change. But if the reason why you chose what you chose is what you stand by and your reason makes sense, then why change, right?
So on the board, yes, you have a question back there, or a comment, yes.
I didn't change my view because indecision is scope creep.
Did you guys all hear that? Brilliant, thank you. Yes, back over here, do we have a microphone? Can we get somebody ready? Thank you, Toby. I don't know what, somehow I'm bumping against myself here.
So for me, when I heard the instruction, I found myself wondering what is the criteria that I'm making this selection for? Is it for functionality? Is it for aesthetics? Is it for fun? So my mind was thinking that way, so I started going, if it's for aesthetic or something unique, just for display, then I'll probably go with the pyramid. If it's something functional, then I would go with the cube because I can stack things on it, it can hold some things on my desk, or it can be a paperweight. And if I go for something fun, then maybe the ball, you can roll it around. So that's how my brain worked.
How many of you have a brain that works like that? That's a very specific personality. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I think to your point about communication is being able to ask the question, to come back and go, okay, what is a criteria that you want me to use in making this decision?
That could impact your decision. I didn't specify that. I just wanted to see what happened organically. But doesn't this, yes, you got an emphatic hand raise.
Just to understand the different perspective of why our team members chose the different shapes, right? So this gave us a better understanding of where they were coming from and why they selected that particular shape. And so this gave us a better understanding of their perspective.
And how was that helpful?
That's helpful in understanding where, especially in the communication, right? To understand the different perspectives or views on a specific topic. So it helps understand other person's perspective on a particular topic and
Brilliant.
Communicate.
Listen, this is great. I love these comments, but think about some of the decisions that you have to make on the board. Maybe you're working really hard, and you're like, we want a management firm to come in and manage our events or our technology or our website. And maybe you have all those things. You're like, we want to bring those all in-house. It doesn't matter why, but it may be the right reason. But if you haven't listened to each other, it doesn't matter if the reason is good or bad. We may make the wrong choice because we don't have the support of others. And you may be so married to that that you are willing to create disengagement on the board, because here's what can happen from time to time. Unfortunately, now I'm not saying any in this room by any means, some join an organization board. Why? For power? To build their resume? And so if you have an idea or a perspective that is not then accepted or heard, what does that say about you? That you are not somehow accepted or valued, and that somehow is demoting your power, your value, your resume. But if you join an organization to have the purpose and mission as the volunteers, the members the chapter members, their experience be the most important, and you don't care who gets the credit, that changes everything, doesn't it? In which we like the best. Because the purpose for why we are making decisions is to do what's best for them, which, guess what? Ends up being what's best for us. I have a co-host on my podcast that was a consultant for the Olympic space for years and years. And we just had the CEO of the Salt Lake Organizing Committee, who's trying to get the games to come back to Salt Lake City, on our podcast this week, Tuesday. And we were talking about the experience of the 2002 games. When I was in my master's degree up at the University of Utah, I interviewed the former CEO of the games in 1992. He was a very arrogant man. And he didn't like some of the questions I asked because they didn't align with his views. That organizing committee was a problem. They were in it for themselves. For those of you from Salt Lake, what happened? They were investigated. We had all kinds of challenges. The games, the brand of the Olympics was besmirched. It was a huge tragedy. A group came in, maybe some of you remember Mitt Romney, but another guy who came in who was the CFO. His name was Fraser Bullock. He's now the CEO. And he said, we had this terrible situation that we had to rectify. We couldn't attract volunteers. You want to talk about attracting volunteers? It's hard to bring a volunteer to give up 2 to 3 years of their life for an organization that's going to leave a black mark on their resume. How many of you can agree with that? We couldn't get corporate sponsors. Why? Because nobody wanted to be associated with the games. This was a disaster. What they focused on was making sure that the athlete experience was absolutely impeccable. Every decision they made was, how will this impact the athlete experience, which will impact what? The viewer experience, would you agree? But that was their focus, every decision. And they made decisions quickly. It was a master class in project management. I mean, the Olympic Games is one of the biggest projects on the planet. Can you agree? I mean, you bring tens of thousands of volunteers together very, very quickly and then burn it all down. And what's interesting is they were humming along. Things were going so well. They got sponsorships, they got volunteers, and then 9/11 hit 4 months before the games. Do you remember this, some of you? They were like, should we just cancel? The world needed that to happen. But here's what ended up happening. The people who were involved in that poured everything into making it the best experience for the athletes and for the viewers. And it was one of the most successful, if not most successful, Winter Games of all time. Financially successful, safety, sportsmanship. Guess who got a lot of credit? It's not what they sought for. When you do things for the right reason, it'll come back to you. But that's not why you do it. But if you do things for those selfish reasons because you have an idea that's the right one for the chapter, no matter how good it is, if you're doing it for what's good for you, even if you think it's what's best for the chapter, that can create an immense amount of pain and disengagement. At a chapter level. All right, enough of that. Let's move on. So here's, to recap, a couple of causes of miscommunication. We've talked about time pressures. We've talked about we think we know what's being asked, right? That was what you said over here about, well, you know, in the third grade, right? We assume what is being said is not important to us. We're careless and selfish if we're honest. Habits, it's just what we do. Dr. Majabian, this is a UCLA study, it's very famous, but let me just summarize, it's not what we say, it's how we say it. And lastly, failing to recognize that we all communicate differently. We think differently, as you saw from different answers and different responses. So, are you interested to learn a little bit more about how you think and communicate? That's only important for one reason. Because when you're self-aware, then you can understand how other people who are different than you communicate. Because can we agree that our differences can create a lot of dysfunction on our boards? My wife and I are exact opposite in every way in communication. And that is brilliant. Because all of her strengths are my weaknesses. And that's it. That was not planned. I lost my chain of thought. But we need those differences. And sometimes those differences also create dysfunction, don't they? And when you have simple problems to solve, it's great when people think like you. But when we have difficult problems to solve, we need different perspectives. We need sometimes people to hold firm to what they believe, as you said over here, right? But sometimes we need to be able to be flexible. And really, that's one of the big messages from today that we'll talk about is how do you adapt and flex when you need to? Oh, time is going so fast. So here's what we're going to do. How many of you say, oh, I can have every one of my board and all my volunteers take a behavioral assessment so I know how they communicate? That's not realistic. Could you agree? So what would it be okay if I taught you some theory behind how to identify people's communication styles? Okay. So here's what I need you to do. I have 3 Starbucks $5 cards placed in some of these chairs, right in the front underneath. Would you kind of go under your chair and see if you find one of those Starbucks cards? I taped it with blue tape. Did you find it? All right, I know they're out there. Did you find them? Oh, you got one? Okay, well, would you come on up? Where are the rest? There's one over here, there's one here. Who else? Okay, come on up for a second. Now, as he's coming up, I want to share with you the theory. Do you guys realize behavioral assessments go all the way back to the Greek doctor Hippocrates? He came up with these. Oh, you got one too? Wonderful. Excellent. So I'm going to have you come up in a second. Yes, why don't you come sit here for just a minute, be comfortable, because I'm going to have you come up in a moment. So there should be 3 of them. Yeah, just grab a seat. Oh, Rosanne, you got one too. Excellent. Grab a seat right there, because I'm going to have you come up in a minute. But these 4 styles that Dr. Hippocrates came up with were called choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, isn't that a great word? And choleric. How'd you like to be called choleric? They relate to a lot of the styles that we use today in many modern behavioral assessments. Well, in the 20s, there was a guy by the name of William Marston who was a physiological psychologist. And he wrote a book in 1928 called How Normal People Behave. You're like, there are no normal people. So here's what he said. If you were to divide the world, let's do it vertically. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, so if you were to divide the world vertically here, everybody on this side, on the left side, sees the world as a problem, the people in it, the events. They see the challenges first. How many know people like that? They see the downside, they see the risks, which you guys have to manage as project managers, right? Everybody on the right side, they see the opportunity in events, in people, and they just see all the upside, all the fun. Which one of those is more accurate? Neither. But if you change how you see the world, your behavior changes. So for example, if you give me feedback and I don't trust you because I think that you have an agenda or an axe to grind and you're out to make me look, how am I going to receive your feedback? And if I feel like you have my best interest at heart, you care about me, you're interested in me, and you give me feedback, am I more likely to listen? How we see the world impacts everything. It impacts how we handle risk, how we look at opportunity, how we sell and share our ideas, how we communicate with each other, everything. So now we've got those 2 dichotomies. Now he split it horizontally, okay? He said everybody above the line sees themselves as more powerful than the environment. So if the environment's negative, who cares if you're on the top? You're like, I'm going to pound it into submission. Get my way. Or if you're on the top right, I'm going to bring all my friends and we're going to solve the problem. It's going to be awesome. People below are feeling maybe less powerful than the environment. Doesn't mean they don't solve the problem. But on the bottom right, what will they do? Also, they will bring their tribe. They will bring people. They will be very steady in how they assess the problem. They're not going to just get after it, but they're going to be methodical and careful. On the left, on the bottom, they're going to see all the risks, all the problems, and they are not going to be caught without the answer. Why? Because they've thought of every single angle, and they won't be caught without the answer. That's how they overcome sometimes that lack of confidence or power. So when it comes to communication, people above the line are what we call direct. What does direct mean? Toby, turn on the light. Direct, yes? What's your name right there? By the door, rocking back and forth, man. You're swaying to your own music. Say it again. Brian. Brian, if it's not too much of trouble, since you're already standing, would you mind turning on the light? That's indirect, yes? Which is better? Doesn't matter. It's just a different style. One's direct, one's indirect. And on the left, these are the folks that are more task-oriented. It's about getting stuff done. What? We got to get the projects checked off. Who cares about love and feeling good? We got to get the dang job done. Right? And on the right side, they're more like, we gotta, if we do the check and then there's no love, then what's the purpose? So, gosh, oh man. I just want to tell you so much to share, but we're gonna cut that short. So here's how you do this. One of my volunteers, would you please come on up? Yeah, come on up. So you tell me your name.
Oh, you can call me Scarlett.
Scarlett.
Yeah.
Here's your microphone. Can you?
Okay.
Okay, Scarlett.
I'm so nervous.
It's okay. I won't make you look bad. Scarlett, would you come here, please? Okay. I love your outfit. This is very beautiful. Yes, that is good looking. Except you're not dripping like I am. I'm so sorry. I won't sweat on you. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask you just a few questions. So, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from China, but I'm at southwestern Missouri, Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri. Did you know? That's a beautiful place. The Ozark Mountains. My wife and I lived in Branson, just down the road.
Yeah, I work at Silver Dollar City in Branson.
Silver Dollar City. You got to get that corn on the cob. They just they take the stuff and then they put it in the butter and you just eat. It's like a popsicle. It's a corn popsicle.
Corn popsicle.
It's so great. You can get
try.
roasted chestnuts in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
So you're from Springfield, which is a beautiful place. One of our daughters was born there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and originally from China.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun, Scarlett?
Oh, I'm not that crazy. Funny person. I just like hang out with my friend, drawing. Yeah, watch
Do you
some
like to
TV
draw?
show.
What do you like to draw?
Drawing charcoal and something.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
You're artist.
No, not that. It's kind of like
communication.
Still exploring myself because my dad is an artist. He drawing, so I grew in that environment. So I also like drawing. But I don't know. I'm exploring myself.
Excellent. And what do you like about when you draw? How does it make you feel?
Very relaxed. You can express yourself, and everyone is an artist. There's no judgment.
Yes.
Yeah, very freedom.
Are you learning anything about Scarlett? Yes. Is she a direct or indirect communicator?
Thank you. I like that.
What do you think? Direct?
I'm not a direct person. my friend kind of.
So our friends are like, get to the point, Scarlett.
Okay.
Right? They're like, well, what if they say, well, what do you want to do tonight? You're like, probably what do you want to do?
I plan to take a little trip to LA and come back to see my friend.
To see your friends.
Yeah.
But when they ask you what you want to do, what do you say? Do you say, I want to do this, or like, I'm flexible, whatever you guys want to do?
For tonight?
No,
Nobody.
Just general. Yeah. Or tonight, sure, tonight.
I'm being indirect. Try to say what the other side wants, then I will give a response. Think of myself.
You want to see what they want to do first.
Yeah, then give a response.
That is so thoughtful.
Oh, thank you. That's a really thoughtful. Yeah.
But that could be cultural, doesn't matter. It's perspective. That's how maybe she was raised. That's what she believes. It's important. So she's indirect. She's also considerate of them first. I'm going to ask you a question. When you get put on the spot like you are right now, does that happen sometimes in your work?
Not very often.
Not very often. But so when it does, those rare times, how do you feel? Do you speak up or do you start to get a little quiet?
Same, both. I feel like
You speak up quietly?
Speak up, yeah, like that. Speak up quietly. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, interesting. So what did you learn? When you talk with Scarlett, how do you talk to her?
You need to take into account people's style and perspective and adapt flex.
Do you? You need to adapt, you need to flex.
You need to flex when you're communicating based on people's style. So you don't either intimidate them or you come off as being cocky.
Right.
If you're not receptive of that.
Right. So, Scarlett, thank you very, very much. I would imagine that you're probably on the people side and maybe on the direct side. Now, this is not scientific. Hold on, stay here for a second. This is not scientific, but it's conflict avoidance. She's like, I don't want to be here. So that's why I think she's on that bottom right. Thank you so much, Scarlett. Thank you. Give her a big hand. So when I talk to Scarlett, I'm going to be a little softer and a little more relaxed. Did I make her feel comfortable? How did I do that? Right. Yeah. And I'm a big, scary, ugly guy. I mean, I am. I'm aware of it. It's actually one of the reasons why I wear these glasses, because it takes a little bit of the edge off. But right now, they're just sliding off my face. Whew! All right, 29. Okay. Roxanne, come on up. I think we'll only have time to do 2 today, just because we're running short. Come on over here.
Hello.
Everyone know Roxanne?
Roseanne.
Roseanne,
Uh-huh.
thank you, is the president of Northern Utah Chapter.
Northern Utah chapter.
Yes. So is that on? It is on.
Is it on? Okay.
So tell us a little bit about you. I mean, tell me about your family.
Well, I'm married and I have 2 kids, but they're adults, and so I also have 4 grandkids, which I love.
What do you love about those grandkids?
Because they're creative and they're all different.
What do you like about that? They're all different.
Well, one is
That seems hard.
It is, but one of them's interested in the video games. One of them's more into forensics. The other one is into theater, and my youngest one is into sports.
Yeah.
So they're
Wow.
all different.
So that's exciting, isn't
Uh-huh.
it? What happened when your kids were growing up when they didn't do what you asked them to do?
I tried to get them to do it.
And how did you do that?
Probably a little bit forceful.
Yeah?
Yeah, in my
So
in
what
my
would you
tone.
say?
That's been a long time ago. My kids are like 46
So
and 48.
is she direct? Is she direct or indirect? When I mispronounced her name, what did she do?
Corrected you.
She corrected me on stage.
Yes?
That's direct. Nicely done.
Oh, thanks.
And is she? Do you know if she's people-oriented or task-oriented? Probably. So what do you like to do for fun?
Walk.
What do you like about walking? What do you like about
It clears your
walking?
mind. It also provides you with some cardio exercise because I go about a 18-minute mile and I walk about 5 to 7 miles a day.
And why do you need to do that?
So that I can think clearly and for health reasons. So it's good. It's
Why
good
do you
for
need
to do.
why do you need your health?
So
Seriously.
I can live past 70?
Why do you want to live past 70?
Because I'm almost there. Yeah,
But I'm still curious why you want to live past 70.
I enjoy life.
What do you enjoy about life?
Why do you have so many questions?
Because I believe that you want to hang around to see those grandkids grow.
Well, absolutely I do.
So is it just about thinking clearly?
No, but
It's about being able to be available, to have fun, to enjoy life.
and to travel.
What do you like about so are you learning about Roseanne? So how do you learn about people?
Ask
Talk to them. Now don't just go up to strangers and start saying, hey, what do you like to do for, I mean, that's obnoxious. Get to know them. Be real. But just be interested in people and you'll find, I believe that she's probably in the top right. Now, is that true when you did this or are you in the top left? Are you on the red side? Top right. So that's right.
Figure out which
Yeah,
direction.
so you're more positive and you're direct.
I am very positive.
You see that?
Yeah.
So if you're 50 to 70% right for just the high trait, thank you so much, Roseanne. I appreciate you. If you're 50 to 70% right, you're going to have a better impact than if you just were guessing. That gives you a chance to connect with people on what's important to them. Why is that important? Because we want to create what? Engagement. We want people to know that we care about them, right? So here's what we're going to do. Would you like to know your styles? Okay, I need everyone to stand up. This is going to be, we got to go fast. This is going to be fun. You need to stand up. You need to find some space. And I know there's some space in the back and in the front because you're going to be moving a little bit. From Utah, you guys have known this. You've experienced this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to have you do. We're going to do a human scattergram based on this theory that I've been sharing with you. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. You're going to start, I'm going to put a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about. Why? Because sometimes, okay, we need to see what I'm talking about. You're standing on a line. It's imaginary. There's no tape at your feet right now. I didn't put any there. I'm going to read two adjectives. You have to choose. If you're more like one, you're going to step forward. If you're more like one, you're going to step back. Does this make sense? Okay, so yes, it's okay. You might bump into people. If you're me, you might sweat on them. That's okay. All right, if you're a more persuasive, step forward, or more humble, step back. Humble back, persuasive forward. If you are more loud, step forward. If you're soft-spoken, step back. If you are daring, step forward. If you're more prepared, step back. If you're impulsive, step forward, or steady, step back. If you're analytical, step forward, or more accurate, step back. If you're a risk taker, step forward, or sensitive, step back. If you're results-oriented, step forward, or perfectionist, step back. For those of you from Montreal, I'm sorry. If you are more quick, step forward, or deliberate, step backwards. If you are friendly, step forward, or more discreet, step backwards. Ask your friends if you don't know what that means. Assertive, step forward, or careful, step backwards. Assertive, forward, careful, backwards. Controlling, forward, supportive, backwards. Motivating, forward, thoughtful, backwards. Energetic, forwards, reserved, backwards. Spontaneous, forward, predictable, backwards. Okay, so for those of you who ended up in front of the line, I want you to all come to the front of the room. If you're behind the line, I want you to go to the back room. It's not a punishment, it's just, that's okay. They're both are good, okay? So, and some of you are like, I'm in the middle. It's okay. Come to the front of the room. Move quickly. Okay. You can come on the stage. All right, now we're going to do this again, only this time we're going to go left or right. Isn't that going to be fun? Okay, so hold on. So I want you to look at this. For those of you in the front of the room, would you say you're more active, fast-paced, assertive, and bold? Is that true? If you're more back there, are you more thoughtful, moderate, calm, and careful? Is that true? And some of you, like Oma, you're standing in the middle. Why? Because you couldn't decide. I couldn't decide. It's okay to be in the middle. Some of you have more flexible personalities, which is good. It's really good. It's also bad because, like, who show up today? That can be confusing. All right, so we're going to go left and right. You may have to step around somebody. If you are more challenging, step left. If you are more agreeable, step right. If you're more decisive, step left, or sociable, step right. Adventuresome, left. Deliberate, right. Diplomatic, left. Considerate, right. Competitive, left. Easygoing, right. Stubborn, left, or sweet, right. Bold, left. Charming, right. Admirable, left. Patient, right. Admirable, left. Patient, right. Admirable, left. Patient, right. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Forceful, left. Patient, right. Okay. Skeptical, left. Receptive, right. Trustworthy, left. Generous, right. Concrete, left. concrete left, and compassionate right. Okay, so if you ended up on the left side of where you started, I want you over in this corner, front or back, okay? Just kind of be in that general area. Scoot over, scoot over, scoot over. This is the middle. This is the middle. Separate yourself. If you are on the right side, I want you to stand over here, back there. Okay, Toby, do we have those little stickers? It's okay to move quickly. Yes, okay. So if you ended up on the left, you're going to be either the front of the room. Come over here with Pierre, quickly. If you are the fun people, get over here on the right. If you are the nice people, get over there in the back. Those are the nicest back there. If you are the smart and detailed and prepared people, you're going to be back over here. Okay. All right, so here's the thing. Now, we have volunteers that have little teeny stickers with colors. This is the red group right here. This is the blue group. This is the yellow group. And this is the green group. I would like for you to take a sticker, but before you do, I want to confirm that this is your right quadrant. Now, your high trait represents only 50 to 70% of your behavior, so this is not by any means 100% accurate. Does everybody understand that? This is just a completely unscientific, fun thing to do. But it is based on theory, and it will help you, and there's an assignment that you're going to have throughout the week. So I want you to take a color and put it on your name tag. Here's why. These are the folks over here that like to get stuff done. They like to be in control. And if you ask them who are the best leaders, they will tell you that they are. And they're usually more direct. They pound the problems into submission. They have all they got it. Over here, you want to have fun tonight? Hang out with these people. Why? Because look at how they're dressed. They are fun, they party, and if they weren't having fun, then they don't want to do it. So if you're not engaging this group, you are not going to engage your volunteers. Why? They're going to bring the energy. And these people over here are like, stop the energy. That is so terrible. Stop having fun. You're freaking me out. You want to make sure that they have fun. Exactly. You will have fun, they said, right? Now back here, I need everybody to listen. I want everybody to listen. This group back here, this is my wife's group. I love this group. Let me tell you why. They are the nicest of all the styles. But here's the problem. Do not make them mad. It takes a really long time to get them there, but when they do, they'll go Incredible Hulk on you. And there's nothing that gets them madder than a bully. They will go mama bear if you mess with their peeps. But they are the caringest, nicest. Okay? Now the problem is sometimes you're nice too long, and so people take advantage of you. And that's a mistake. Over here, this is the high conformity folks. They have answers. They're prepared. They've done their homework. They know what's what. Is that true, Zoltan? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get your sticker. Do we have those volunteers? Put them out on the table. Make sure you get a red sticker. You guys make sure you get a blue sticker. You get a yellow sticker. You get a green. Why? Here's why. I want you to pay attention throughout the rest of the conference. Listen to how each other speaks. And more importantly, I want you to find your opposite that is most opposite of you. For dominance, it's pace. For pace, it's dominance. For extroversion, it's conformity. For conformity, it's extroversion. I want you to practice talking to your opposite. Why? That's where engagement. It's already easy for you all to talk to each other. It's already easy for you to talk to each other and so forth. But to talk to the opposite, because if you're direct and see the challenge is it's hard to talk to the people and nice. Does that make sense? Okay, take your seats. Take your seats. Okay, we got to move quickly. Yeah. All right, I need you to move quickly. I'm losing my voice. Okay. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I need your attention. All right, can I have your attention? I've got 15 minutes, and I'm losing my voice. Please be quiet. Hey guys, please take your seats. Now, I'm going to share a few things with you before we move on. Listen up. Please listen up. If you have taken this assessment correctly, you will be able to identify which quadrant you're in. And you can do that by looking at this, okay? If you find a quadrant that has more check marks by those adjectives than the others, then you are in the right quadrant. Now, you should have check marks in every single quadrant. You're never just one. Make sense? But this could help you confirm just by a little check-in. All right. Now, here's the bad news. Under stress and under pressure, each of you will behave in different ways. This group over here turns into dictatorial steamrollers. You all know it. This group over here launches attacks. What does that mean? They get sarcastic and then they keep talking until you give in. This group over here gets quiet. They avoid conflict. This group over here gets really stubborn because they know they're right. These are blocks to effective engagement. Okay? Now, I will have for you some tools to identify what, these are just high-level blocks. There's more. Depending on your traits, you can take a survey. You don't need to take a picture of this. I will give it to you. You can take an assessment and figure out which of these traits are causing you problems. And I will teach you a methodology, one-on-one if you want, to how to shift and create those behaviors to create more engagement in your chapter. We'll have to do that more one-on-one, okay? And I'll show you how to do this by using what's called the daily questions, and by saying, did I do my best today to behave, for example, was I more fully engaged? Was I more positive in building relationships? If that's what your block was, right, because you're struggling with building those relationships, state the block in the positive and work on that, and that's a very powerful way to change your behavior. So the most engaged chapter leaders play golf. Not really. Now, one of the things that Chakri didn't say is just up the road, there's one of the best golf courses in all of America, number 24 on golf.com. It's called Torrey Pines. Have anybody ever heard of that? It's just up the road. I have a couple of pictures. Some of you are golfers. How many of you are golfers? I'm not. I just carry these around. They're mine. I've had them for a long time. They're not great, but that's not important. I want to teach you that to play the game of golf. How many of you, if you play golf, have a favorite club? What is it?
4-iron.
The 4-iron. What is it over here?
7.
The 7. I love the 7. Anybody else? What do you like? 8. The what? Number 8. Anybody like the driver? You like the driver. That's cool. What do you like? You like the 3. Ooh, like a hybrid 3 or a wood 3? An iron 3. Okay. So what would happen if you played every hole with your 8? What would happen if you played every hole with your putter or your driver? Why do you have 12 to 14 different clubs? You have different situations, don't you? So I'm going to relate to your styles of behavior these different golf clubs. I am going to bring my own green here and my own tee, and I'm a terrible golfer, so we, Pierre and Joanne, we have liability insurance. Okay, good. The driver, what kind of style would you think a driver is of the 4? Probably the red, right? Because you want to hit that ball hard and you want to get it down towards those goals and just get it going. You want to tee off that tee. You're probably teeing off that tee. Especially when it goes wrong. And listen, as tall as I am, a lot of things can go wrong. And I tried doing it into the audience, but That was a problem. Now, you are not going to be looking at my, and I'm not going to do a full swing because there's something behind me. But when you need to get things going, when do you need this red style? It's when you need to get it going far. When you need to take action. When there's a crisis. My crisis this week. Somebody broke into our Stripe account, hijacked our email, and changed all the rules so all the notices would go to them. And this is what we use once a year for our auction. We spent hours dealing with Stripe. But let me tell you something, we didn't have time for a vote. We had to take action. Why? Because $45,000 of invoices went out to our members. 7,500 went through. You guys realize that there are urgency situations, that there are crises that sometimes you need to hit it hard. Would you agree? But a lot of things can go wrong when we use that too much. Would you agree? Now, I'm going to share with you a couple other styles. You guys notice Torrey Pines? Isn't that beautiful? That's just up the road. It's right over the sea. It's absolutely amazing. So let's start with the 7-iron. I like the 7-iron. The 7-iron is what we call, oh, by the way, this is called a coercive style of leadership, the driver. This is called authoritative. Now you're saying, well, that sounds a lot like coercive. It is not. Authoritative is one of the most positive styles that there is. It is a setting the example styles. This is how we do things here at this chapter. Here's how we avoid problems. We have policies and procedures, and let me show you the roles and teach you the ropes. That's the strength. The weakness is it's not very flexible, or it doesn't take a lot of input or new direction. Would you agree? But it's great if you need to make more precise hits down towards your goal. And I'm going to say that the green style, the high conformity and the high extroversion are really good, and the high dominance are good at the authoritative style. All of you, there's 6 styles I'm going to share with you, are probably good at 2, 3, or 4 of them, and probably struggle with 2, 3, or 4 of them. I want you to identify which one you struggle with. I'm holding a ball in my hand. I don't know if that's going to work. But sometimes you just got to get the rebound. I told you something could go wrong. But you just got to get it going. You got to be authoritative and hit it with that 7-iron. That's an iron. Then you can have the hybrid, which is the 3. That's not a wood. That's what we call democratic. Democratic is important because it brings both the strength of the wood and the iron. And sometimes we need to hear the voices of other people. You know who's great with that? Bringing other people's voice in? High extroverts. High pace. They care about what other people think. High dominance, high conformity, they don't care. I mean, if we're honest, right? But what Joanne did was ask you all. That was a democratic approach, even though that may not have been a strength. Why? Because she wanted to know what was best for you all in creating engagement. I'm terrible with this one, and I know I'm not swinging back, but I want to hit that. Because that's democratic, and that just gets everybody involved. Now, is there a weakness to the democratic approach? What's that? It takes a long time! Well, that's frustrating. And you know what? If you're too democratic, then actually not everybody gets heard. Think about the Congress floor. How often do people filibuster because they all want to be heard? So sometimes to mitigate that, you have to be smart. You have to make sure that committees don't get too big so that people can be heard. But if you need to make a quick decision, that's a weakness, right? But if you want to create engagement and involvement, then get everybody in. Now, we have another style called the pace setting. And here's what I believe about the pace setting. This is about goals and standards, high standards. This is about getting stuff done right. And at the end of playing a long hole, you get in a trap you got to get out of. I'm telling you what, the pace setting, when you are setting up this Congress, there's a lot of work that you have to do in a short period of time, don't you? You bring a lot of energy when you do your PDDs and you do your events. You've got to put a lot of energy. That's when the pace setting is its best. But you can only do it for so long, and you burn out. I believe that every single one of the styles is great at pace setting. High standards, goals, working hard. Would you agree? So that's one I don't think. So I made it white because I think it represents all of them. Oh my gosh. Because you can get that one up. Oh, I didn't get it up. We have 2 more. The putter, what is that? It's called affiliative. That's about relationships. That's about spending time to get to know each other and understanding each other. Lastly, there's no club. It's what's called coaching style of leadership. The putter, or the affiliative, is again great with extroversion and pace. I think you excel at that. With the coaching, I think conformity excels. Why? Because they have a lot of answers. I think high dominance. I think high extroversion wants people to feel welcomed and understood. Now, here's how you want to use coaching. How many of you have answers? How many of you know stuff? How many, when people ask you a question, want to share that you know stuff? Stop that. If you're coaching somebody, let them figure it out. Assume that they're smart. They're project managers. They passed the PMP. That's hard. Somebody comes to you with a challenge. Coach them through it. So, well, what do you think? Don't impose your answer on people. Now, is there a time to use that? The answer is yes. So here's the opportunity that you have. You get to learn when to use each style and when to adapt. Now, how many of you found one that's hard for you of the 6 styles? Coercive, pace setting, authoritative, affiliative, coaching, and democratic. Is at least one of those hard for you? To be the most effective leader, you've got to learn how to adapt and get uncomfortable from time to time. That's going to take a little bit of effort on your part, but you will increase your engagement in significant ways. And you do not have to get hugely better at those different clubs. Even 5% improvement of being affiliative or democratic or even being more assertive will create incredible impacts. All right, we've got 3 minutes. Isn't that beautiful, those Torrey Pine spots? I'm going to give you 4 suggestions to wrap up. I was going to ask questions, but I think we've had a lot of comments throughout, so we'll bypass that. The first thing that I would like you to do is increase your self-awareness. Take an assessment. Figure out what your blocks to effective communication and engagement are. Really understand what are your motivators. Are you in it for everybody else, or are you in it for yourself? And there's more to that I haven't spent time with. Ask for feedback. Learn how to adapt your communication style. There are great tools. I have a tool that is fantastic. If you want to know more about it, it will get into absolutely everything. Motivators, high dominance, low dominance, high extroversion, low extroversion, how you manage projects, how you deal with stress, how you do all those things. We can make that available to you. Each one of these styles that you see on here will behave very, very differently. Know how you show up and know what you have to work on to be able to adapt to those in your chapter, those volunteers. And then you can figure out, this is my board at the National Speakers Association, our chapter. We had to work on our bylaws. 85% of us are high extroverts. It's really hard for us to pay attention. So I did this to say, listen, this is going to be our problem. We're going to go on tangents left and right. We got to make sure that we nip that in the bud. We took the 15% of the high dominance and said, listen, when that happens, cut us off. Why? Because we have a job to do. But we needed to know what our problems were so we could address it, so we could get the job done. And it was brilliant. It worked out great. We had fun in the process, and we got the stupid bylaws written. There are ways to change from if you need to be more direct or less direct. You don't need to take pictures of this. I'll make it available to you. If you need to be more task-oriented or more people-oriented, you can do that. There are ways to do that, and I will make that available to you here in just a second. Increase your people orientation. Increase your task orientation. How many of these people you need to get the task done? Stop talking. Okay, so there's a way to do that. And here's how you do it. It's free. Listen, download. There's several PDFs. You can download an assessment. You can download how to identify your blocks. You can identify how to adapt your behavior. It's all there for you. I'm going to move this forward because we got to wrap this up in a minute. No questions. Suggestion number 2, create a culture of service, you guys. Set the example. Talk about service. Reward it. Recognize it when it happens. And when somebody asks you, what is the value of membership in your chapter? You know what I would tell them? Are you a professional project manager? Then it's not about what you get. It's about what you give. And let me tell you something. When Serena talks about her service at the chapter level and on the national level, how much have you gotten back as a professional? Both of you talked about what you learned. You will get so much back. What did you do first? You gave first. Listen, stop figuring out what this chapter is going to get to you. Get in and give to it, and I promise you it'll give you back. That is a good answer that I would suggest that anybody ever asks you that. Number 3, give meaningful assignments. Let people do their stuff. Don't micromanage them. Let them have authority and power. Let them feel important. They want to know that they matter. They want to know that they've had an impact. Give them that opportunity. And last, you guys, have fun. There is something called the law of association. When you have certain people call you on your phone, you're like, oh no. Or you're like, oh, I'm so excited, I want to talk to them. You create an anchor in your life of how people want to associate with you. Are they excited when you come home from work at night? Woo! Spencer's home. He's going to help with the grandkids. Or you create those associations by how you show up. And some of you are like, well, I'm just not that kind of outgoing, friendly kind of person. Can you get a little bit better? Can you get 5% better? Can you, instead of waiting for somebody to reach out their hand to you this weekend or in your chapters, can you reach out your hand to them? Can you smile to them? Can you put your arm around them? If you do those things that I shared with you today, you will create chapter engagement.